that Sharif Cooper hasn't done that I can say he should do to say he's done it all.
He won that championship. That was it.
Everything. He's done everything. He's scored a lot of assists.
The only thing that can cap off his career is becoming Mr. Basketball.
So why is it that when I watch Juwan Odom, did I feel like he's the best Every time I watch Juwan Odom play, I feel like I'm seeing something special. Like I'm seeing something that I'm not gonna maybe not see again. I said that for a long time. BJ Boston was my favorite high school player in Georgia. I don't get that feeling that I'm seeing something I'll never see again. It's the Love of the Game podcast. We're in the building. I'm not even gonna go through a real intro, man. Y'all, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for, though? What are you sorry for?
I was wrong. Trae Young is that deal. I'm not giving you no long, drawn-out apology, Huff.
But that's a great intervention. I'm glad we can come to a nice segue where you finally gave Trae Young his props and what he's been doing. I mean, you do realize that Trae Young has taken the Hawks to their first ever Eastern Conference Finals win ever.
Yes. So they're and I chose.
He's the youngest player to score 48 points in the Eastern Conference Final.
I chose this day to do this because there's no doubt about it right now, right? Like I had a lot of issues with how he was playing the game before, and he's made some adjustments, but I'm gonna get out of the way and let the people who saw it early talk about it. Because I honestly, being honest, even the adjustments that he made to his game, I didn't think we would see this type of growth and maturity this early.
I mean, obviously, way back in the day, I told you that I liked the trade. And I wasn't saying I liked it because of Luka Doncic wasn't going to be good. I just felt, for me, that he wouldn't have, that what Atlanta needed wasn't Luka. That they needed somebody that the city could get. The city hasn't had anybody that could galvanize this city basketball-wise since Dominique. And you can tell me everything you want to about Joe Johnson and Dikembe Mutombo and Josh Smith and Al Horford. And
no, that's true. Because we never believed in any of those guys.
Right. But even more so than what you're seeing now, you're still seeing his playmaking ability. And I'm not talking scoring. Like how he makes others around him better. And that was the first thing I ever told you, Dre. I said, everybody talks about how much he can shoot the basketball, but I was looking at how well he passes the basketball and make others better around him. I just think right now he has better pieces. They had to grow up together. Collins obviously got a whole lot better. Herter is a definite difference maker, especially when he's making shots. And I know Bryce wants to chime in, and he played at Maryland. And you get Capella, which, again, I did tell you that was the biggest trade they ever made, was getting somebody that could control the rim and get rebounds for him. I mean, they were playing with DeAndre Detman and all that. And Mark, no, I didn't predict they would be in the Eastern Conference Finals, but Mondre and them can go back and roll the tape. And I said that they would be
top four.
Said they would be top four in the league. And the injuries hit them early this year.
And a new coaching change.
Yes. Somebody that, as I heard today, that believed in them, and they believed in him, and they bought into the philosophy. No, we're not ready to put a Trae Young statue up yet, Mark, but they are doing some big things, man. They're doing some big things, and we just wanted Mondre to to eat crow for all the things he said that Trae Young wasn't.
Yeah, Dre, what did you say? You said something like, man, I take it.
Hey, listen, I won't shy away from my take, even the bad one, right? Like, this was exactly my take. I felt like the way I saw Trae playing the game, I saw him as a smaller version of Steph Curry. Launching a bunch of 30, 40 footers. I didn't feel like he shot the ball as well as Steph to be able to play that way. I also felt like that even Steph can't play that way and win big. And he's the only person that I know that can play the way he plays. I use that to make my argument about Klay Thompson and how important Klay Thompson was to Steph, to the Warriors, to their success. Having a point forward like Draymond Green, the way that team was constructed, I kind of talked about that, and the Hawks not having their team constructed that way. Trae needed to be effective at being able to get his feet in the paint and trust guys to make shots. And I wasn't seeing that. But as a credit to him, and as Huff mentioned, and Huff said this early, that the team wasn't constructed the right way. And he felt like once they start adding pieces that they were going to get better, and that's what they did.
They were still they were in the process of building it, though. It wasn't like, I mean, it took some years. So they had to get rid of some people and fill in some rookies and stuff like that.
I mean, it took them some years. You got to realize, obviously Trae and Herter came in together. Collins was a year before. Deandre Hunter, who we got to realize Deandre Hunter's not even playing in this series, and he averaged like 15 this year. Like, he was having that breakout season after his rookie season. They go sign Bogdanovich. They traded for Clint Capella last year. Like, there's no disrespect to guys like Detman and Alex Lynn, but Clint Capella does his job. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he finishes around the rim. That's what he does. That's what they needed on this team.
That was you talk about how big that was as soon as they made that trade.
Yeah. And then you talk about, even mid-season, going to trade for Lou Will, like getting rid of Rondo. And realize now, they didn't just trade for Lou Will. I think they got a couple of draft picks out of it, too. Traded Rondo to the Clippers.
Did he play last night? Because I don't remember seeing him.
He played a little, but Trae was cooking, so.
Yeah.
They signed Gallinari, gives them some.
I think that was a big sign too.
I mean, that's a guy that could come in and play. Now they're going big and they're letting them play the three.
He's made some big shots.
Yeah,
I killed you for the Gallo signing also. I killed you for that one too.
You did.
I killed you for that one. I thought he was done.
So I mean, the GM has pushed all the right buttons, and obviously Nate McMillan has come in and pushed the right buttons as a coach, and they've got this city galvanized, man. They believe in each other, and they believe in that they can win. Lock was good.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Hey man, what's the t-shirt say, Lock? Who you rocking today?
Oh, we are Chat State.
Chat State.
Okay.
Chat State, Chattanooga State out here.
Speaking of which, Dre, are they getting my gear this weekend?
Hey man, forget Dre.
Will they show up in the gym? Because I did not see them at Lake Point.
Whoa.
They were. I saw Locke at Lake Point.
You see
me? I did saw Bryce too.
I didn't see Bryce or Locke at Lake Point.
We were together
everywhere.
Huh?
You see me everywhere.
Facts.
Hey, so when I had the shirts, I called Locke on FaceTime. Did I not?
And didn't I tell you I was coming later? Hey,
I had to go.
As you get older, more things start taking the place. You can't stay in the gym all day anymore.
I got you. Hey, well, I gotta escape and get in the gym. So, oh man, did Huff and Locke freeze up?
Yeah,
nah, I'm still here. Locke froze up though.
Oh, Locke froze up. You dead, Locke? Bam. I'll wait for Locke to come back. No, man, that what Trey has done, along with what Ben Simmons is unable to do. Hey, can I say this? While we talk about high school, I know we normally talk about high school basketball. Ben Simmons is why we yell at all those kids that are 6'7" and 6'8" that don't want to work on post moves, saying that I'm a guard with big guard in your social media profile, and I'm a wing and all of that. And when they put a 5'10" guard on you and you can't post up and score in the post, Ben Simmons is the reason why we yell at you. They lost that series on switches. He couldn't even guard. He couldn't even score on Trae Young.
I mean,
I disagree, Dre. I'm sorry. I because my thing is the 76ers were in first place in the East the whole season. We can pretty much say that they had the most complete roster. They were pretty deep. They're deep,
except for the 16 dude that couldn't score.
That's not. But he's been the same person the whole year. We just didn't know that. We didn't pay attention to it.
Well, I think what happens, Bryce, is that when you get to the playoffs, you really start scouting those guys and saying, "Well, who's not going to beat me?"
Well, what happened in my opinion?
And the rotation gets shorter.
Well, that's my thing. The scoring that they needed, they didn't play a lot of those guys, and that's why I think they lost. So, but
yes. Who do you think they should have played? Like Shake Milton?
Shake Milton played a lot, but I think Tyrese Maxey could have played a lot more. And I think you get 15 to 16, 17 points from Tyrese Maxey. It kind of covers up some of Ben Simmons' weaknesses, which in the playoffs, in the heat of the moment, those weaknesses were now really.
But can you sit Ben Simmons out for Tyrese Maxey when you're paying him a lot of money? He's supposedly your best defender, which I will give him. He's a pretty good defender. Like
all I'm saying is it's not like the dude just all of a sudden started missing free throws.
I'm not saying that, and I ain't tripping on the free throws as much as I'm tripping on the fact that
he didn't shoot a field goal or make a field goal with him 3 straight fourth quarters.
That's my point. It is that if you're 6'10", I shouldn't be able to guard you with just anybody. I shouldn't be able to put a 6-foot guard on you, a 6'5" guard on you, without you just going to the post and showing that that's an absolute mismatch.
He's got some confidence issues going on right now for sure. There's some things going on that, and if you've ever played the game before and you're a shooter and you're not shooting well, or you don't see the ball going a hole, whatever the case may be, you know what it feels like, what he's probably going through. But he's going through it times a million because he's playing in the arena.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is it's not like they were just like didn't know who the guy was. So I kind of think it's a coaching thing. I think Doc Rivers is to blame. I think the rotations were not they have the best big man in the league.
Let's talk about that, B, because I think one time I told some guy on this podcast that we were giving Doc Rivers a little too much credit sometimes.
I don't see how that's Doc Rivers' fault. I really don't.
All Doc Rivers' fault, bro. You can't be the
how many adjustments did they make in that series?
Right. You can't be the number 1 seed going into the playoffs and then fold like that. And you have the best big man in the world. Unstoppable. You have another guy at 6'10".
Didn't he have a meniscus tear during the playoffs?
And he was still giving us buckets.
He was giving them hell. He was giving them the business.
We couldn't stop that dude. We stopped him when he stopped himself, either because of injury or he wanted to take a bunch of jump shots.
The rotations, no adjustments, and
like we used to think Doc was this great.
We didn't close out
timeout person, ATO person, and I just didn't see it in that series. I saw him just sticking to the same thing, no adjustments. Like
if you know that they're about to start that hack a bin or hack a shack, whatever you want to call it, but you got to take them out, bro. You got to put it in. Yeah, he looks crazy. Take a picture of that screenshot. So, damn.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm gonna try to get him back. He's gone.
Yeah, man. Like, you got to get him out of there. Because at the same time, that also saves the guy's confidence too.
I mean, I thought that they were. I said, man, Embiid's playing like 40-some minutes a game on a torn meniscus. That's a lot,
bruh. And he was unstoppable still.
Yeah. I mean, Dre, you think Doc's untouchable, but take away having 3 Hall of Famers and that time in Boston and tell me what that career looks like.
I looked up 76ers roster one time before the playoffs started, and I said, there's no way that they should lose. There's no way. We're not talking about Tobias Harris. They had a roster. Now, they don't have Hall of Famers right now, but they have a complete roster. They should have won the East. I think it's coaching. I think that's coaching.
Hey, the 2 coaches on here say that it's coaching.
I mean, we want you to save Doc. What you got to say for Doc? Save him.
I can't save him. You lost. I mean,
and he lost previous years being up 3-1. Are we gonna talk about that too?
He's lost in
okay. Okay. So the whole LA situation when they lose, right? Like I hated that team. Like I don't think
they were up 3-1.
I think they have a better team now.
But you're still not addressing.
They're still not going to win.
They were up 3-1.
True.
And they were up 2. Weren't they up 2-0 against the Hawks? Or am I tripping?
No. Hawks have won every game. You're
right.
Look at her.
But Philadelphia was up 18.
Yeah.
And 24 and blew both of those games.
That's coaching, bro.
Game 4 and game 5.
You can see it. He gets nervous. He get hit. He a little older, and he started making them adjustments.
This Brad Stevens.
Wow.
Ouch. I'm about to start drawing at straws, and I don't want to do that.
We have to call a spade a spade. And without that championship, Doc is maybe a little bit above average. He's above average coach. The same could be said for Rick Carlisle. Take away the championship in Dallas.
Whoa.
That was the name that I was going to pull up.
He hadn't got out the first round since then.
Correct.
Yeah,
but that was a tough championship to win that joint, though.
Okay, I agree, but we don't talk about Doc. You got to say the same. But Rick Carlisle gets another job too.
Yeah. I mean, if you give somebody who actually can coach and make adjustments, like if Monty Williams was coaching 76ers, they don't lose. They win the East, I think.
Monty Williams is doing a hell of a job.
Especially with Brooklyn eliminated. They don't lose.
Maybe it's time to stop recycling all of these coaches.
Man, I call them the recyclables, man. That's why I was happy Boston at least hired somebody that wasn't, somebody new.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's time to stop recycling all of these guys.
But I say that, and in retrospect, Nate McMillan is a recycled coach too. But
yeah, he is. But whatever he did when he came in there in the locker room, they bought into him.
They bought in, man.
And I don't know what it is, but
I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just gonna put it out there. There are allegedly the talk of Trae Young and John Collins not liking each other came from somebody who no longer works there. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm. And they probably didn't like him.
Right.
And the coach, the previous one, probably wasn't getting Trae Young to play the game that he needed to play. Trae Young wasn't a believer.
Yep, I would agree with that.
He couldn't have been, because if you watch his game now, the guy gets to the lane whenever he wants to, and he either shoots the floater or he throws the lob or he kicks it out. When he has a three, that's secondary now. Before,
and it's so funny. It's so funny, Bryce, when you talk about Trae and Luka, the two guys who were traded for each other. When you put them in a pick and roll, I don't even want to say a pick and roll, just period. Like, you got to determine, do you just want them to beat you, or do you want them to allow everybody else to beat you? Because they can both do it both ways. Like, they can come out and score 40, or if you're going to double them and make them take it out their hand, they can make the right pass. Like, they tried to double Trae last night, like almost to the wing, but kind of higher up. And he goes behind his back to Herter, like right in the shot pocket.
But here's the thing. Here's what they used to do. Like I feel like 7-game series used to be like a chess match.
Yeah, you're right.
That first game, like, I feel like Phil Jackson or whoever, they might have lost the first game, but they're gonna throw all their they're gonna throw their game plans out there and see what sticks. And then
Doc did change the second game. Remember, that's when they put, because the first game Trey torched Danny Green. They didn't have Ben Simmons on.
Yeah,
that was the only adjustment I thought they made. They put Ben Simmons on him.
Danny Green got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah, but he wasn't hurt game 2. They just Trey was just cooking Danny Green all day long.
And honestly, that could have hurt Philadelphia.
Yeah, not having Danny Green could have hurt. But the same could be said for the Hawks. They didn't have DeAndre Hunter. So the adjustment Budenholzer, who doesn't make adjustments either, has to make is they tried to do it late in the game last night, is put Giannis at the 5. And so if they put Giannis at the 5, then they're going to switch everything on the pick and roll, because there's no way they can continue to go underneath the pick and roll on Trey and then have drop coverage with Brook Lopez or whoever. Like that's the real problem. But if they're taking Brook Lopez out, you also saw the disadvantage they had. They got killed on the boards once Brook Lopez got out the game. So I don't know what adjustment can he make.
I think it's something that you have to do like every other quarter. Like the first quarter, you play them straight up. The second quarter, you blitz the screen or whatever, you hedge and trap. The third quarter, you might play him straight up. And you know what I mean? I think it's something that you have to do like that to give him different looks. But then, and hopefully going into the fourth quarter, you're right there where you want to be. And then you just trap him the whole fourth quarter. And then like, you can't really leave Herter either, but you make the rest of the dudes beat you. I don't know. There's got to be a way.
You definitely can't go under. Like this,
under with drop coverage.
What I will say is, right now, you can't go under, but he's not shooting as many threes.
He's still attacking you. Like he's still getting to that float game.
That's what you need to take away right now, though. You need to take away him getting to the paint.
But if you stop him from getting to the paint, then you're gonna be able to lob.
So how were the Hawks struggling in the past? Well, he shot a bunch of threes.
Well, that and they didn't have a Clint Capella type that you could throw it at the rim and go get.
That's what I'm saying. If you
are we saying that we want to invite Trey to shoot Atlanta out of the game?
You take away the lob, you take away the floater and his penetration. And
but who's going to stay in front of him to keep him away from getting to the lane?
That's on the pick and roll. They got to kind of.
But you said they should trap him to get out of his hand.
I'm saying a bunch of different things they got to do. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying what they should do.
I was wondering.
I don't know what they should necessarily do on the pick and roll. They should do a bunch of things. What I'm saying is, what you have to take away, I feel like, is the penetration.
What would you do, Bryce?
I would take away the penetration. So, like, I gotta go under. Because I don't want him to throwing lobs off the backboard anymore. I don't want him shooting floaters. And even in addition, I don't want him driving baseline and kicking it to the opposite wing for the 3. So honestly, I can see why they are going under the screen, but they are not doing a good job of keeping him out the paint. So I want to keep him out the paint. So
here's your other problem for Milwaukee. Well, who is their best wing defender? I don't know if they really have.
What they used to do for James Harden was put 2 people, like kind of like 2 people at the top and hedge your bets. That's probably what they're gonna have to do with James Harden. You sit almost like a 2-2-1, like you got 2 people at the top of the key, kind of sitting on him, but at the same time you're protecting the paint, and then you're like, I'm inviting him to shoot a 53 game.
You know what, Bryce? That's a good analogy. I wouldn't be surprised to see somewhere down the road that it's a zone thrown in by Milwaukee somewhere.
They're gonna have to. That's really the only way. You're gonna have to keep 2 sets of eyes on him, and then if Herter's on the wing, whoever's on the wing on that side, you're in basically a man, and everybody else, you're kind of playing straight up. But I think you got to put 2 people on him to play that screen and kind of switch. And then, like I said, you got to keep him out of the lane. He's gonna make threes. Like, okay, well, he makes them, all right. But eventually, if he shoots 20 of them, shit, if he get cold, they done.
Well, the other part that Milwaukee has to be better at is transition D. Like, Trey's so quick, like getting up the floor, like.
So I feel like if you can do that against James Harden, and he's bigger, more physical. Now Trae Young is what makes Trae Young special is actually his size because he's really quick and fast and hard to stay in front of. So I think they're gonna have to put two people at the top of the key and kind of like play a zone kind of situation, something like that. They keep him out of the lane. The Hawks are in trouble because the two bigs, John Collins and what's his name, Capella. A lot of that is cleanup stuff, and they're not playing it with their back to the basket. You know what I mean?
Well, Collins does when he gets somebody smaller than him.
Yeah, sometimes. But for the most part,
let me ask you this, Bryson and Dre. Which one was more disrespectful? The off the glass lob for the dunk, or the I shook you and you get all the way to the paint, then I stare at you and shimmy and make the three?
Nah, that three was disrespectful.
Still, I mean, well, I think the off the glass was more disrespectful. To me, I feel like with the shimmy three, they was disrespecting Trae.
Nah,
to get back out there.
No, he ain't disrespectful.
Yeah, like you gotta at least make an attempt to close out a little bit.
He crossed the shit out of him. He couldn't get out of it.
but you're under, right?
No. Drew was guarding him.
He was trying to he got through it and then got shook.
He got shook over top the screen and came back. At that point, he was like, "Fuck, I ain't going back over there." The person who was guarding the ball, the screener was already back.
Yeah, because they wouldn't drop coverage. So
yeah, but I'm saying so. Trae is staring down the roll man's guy, right? You know the roll man ain't rolling because the roll man is sitting over there dying laughing at Drew. He's looking you eye to eye, like. He steps over, he takes a dribble, he stops, and he's staring at you. Like,
and then shimmy.
Yeah, because like, oh, you're not coming out here. Like, I don't even deserve that. Like, I don't even deserve the weak hand up, slight jog effort.
He ain't had to shimmy. He had to shimmy. He could have just shot the three, bro.
Oh, Bryce, you would have definitely shimmied. You definitely would have shimmied if they didn't close out.
What he's saying, like that shit disrespectful, and you make it, ain't like he.
But the fact of that lob though is
the play was just it was a good pass. Like
I don't know, but Ken Bazemore said they practiced that. Just imagine that.
The way the ball came off the backboard, it didn't. That was crazy.
You gotta practice stuff like that.
They practiced that.
You got.
I wish Matt Ryan and Julio Jones would have practiced throwing into the pylon in the end zone like they practicing off the backboard lobs, but we're not going to talk about that.
Matt Ryan ain't that good, but we're not going to talk about that either.
Julio didn't practice. Let's not talk about that.
Oh, it's going to be Julio's fault. Okay.
I didn't say it was Julio's fault, but I'm just saying. I mean, Matt Ryan can throw it to a pylon if he inside the 10. He can't
get a first down when you up 28-3.
Dang.
There we go. I'm glad I now got something else to talk about when I can talk about Philly being up 20-24.
I got to give you the blues, Huff, just because I feel like Trae Young might win a championship, and I'm never going to hear the end of it.
So I have a question, totally random.
Yep.
Who's worse? Tristan Thompson or Nick Cannon?
I'm gonna say Tristan Thompson because I think Nick Cannon is doing what he's doing on purpose.
Nick Cannon makes money, so
Tristan got $100 million.
He better thank LeBron every day.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
Nick Cannon got a lot of.
The more and more I think about LeBron, there are times I think about how, and I shouldn't say this because nobody in the NBA is a bum. Let me make that clear.
He got a lot of people paid.
High school players would never call NBA because they will come out here and juice you, but he got a lot of dudes.
Boobie Gibson was like that when he played with LeBron. People probably
he took Sharon, was it Ilgauskas? Who did he take to the finals, bro? Like, that Cleveland team, some of those Cleveland teams, man.
Yeah. But why do you think Nick Cannon doing it though?
I think he's doing it intentionally.
Yeah, he just needs somebody to pay attention to him, man.
They said they.
I think Nick Cannon is doing that intentionally. But here's my thing, though. Like he got,
like you trying to prove
gonna have 5 kids in 1 year.
Well, it
Like
ain't
he
just.
go. I mean, he might be going through something.
I can't say what I want to say. I'm gonna leave that alone.
But the man Tristan got off the season and got caught in the bedroom with 3 women. Again.
I hear Melo got caught up in something too. Again.
It's hard out there in these streets, fellas. Stay alive.
That phone out like this, you knew he was in trouble. Wait, talk to your daddy on the FaceTime. You knew he was in trouble with that. See, with Melo, though,
shout out to Lala.
With Melo, I feel like, how do we know if that stuff is really true? Because they don't never talk about it. Like, there's rumors, but is it really true? Like, we have proof that Nick Cannon's wilding. We know Tristan be wilding. I don't know. Maybe
that's true.
Maybe it's Melo we want to get.
There was evidence that D-Wade was wild too.
Huh? But D-Wade and
there was evidence.
They might like that stuff though.
Yeah.
Little toxicity just to spice things up.
Yeah.
A little bit. I believe in it. I believe in being toxic.
So
I'm a firm believer. In being toxic.
So if your wife posts a Tupac's love letter, you okay with that?
Hey man, listen. When you step in the ring, you got to be ready to compete. You got to be ready to compete. I mean, there is
Dr. Love is off the chain with that comment.
Bobby Womack was. Yeah, that's not all he did though. To Sam Cooke,
Poor Sam Cooke.
Nick is single. Nick, listen. If you could pay all that child support, I say, go for it, man. Do what you got to do.
I think he's trying to like.
My thing about it is this, and I took at it from a serious dad point of view, right? Like, I would have a hard time with that because you can't raise all of those kids.
Right.
You can be with them. You can see your kids.
Well, you can be a dad, but you can't be a father.
Right. That's my issue. Like, when all those kids are teething, right? People typically think of raising kids or being with your kids as like, oh, he can definitely make it to the soccer games or the graduation or whatever. Yeah, that's a single event that lasts for a couple of hours. Yeah, you can. When that kid is up in the middle of the night, when he's teething and there's no solution for that, when his gums are just hurting, right? And he's running a fever in the middle of the night and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally could not handle that because there's no FaceTime call that is going to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can't FaceTime that away. You can't, like, there's no, like, me personally, I couldn't do that. Well, I guess I can't say what I couldn't do. I've never been in that situation and I don't want to be.
You're not trying to put yourself in that situation.
No. That was one thing for me that even going through a divorce, I fought for. Like, I was gonna see my son every day, or as often as I could. Like, we're not doing that. As my daddy would say, you can't have somebody else coming in and thumping your son on the back of his head. We're not doing that, bro. We're not doing that.
Let me show you the ways of the world, little boy.
Yeah. Smack it upside the back of his head. Listen to me when I'm talking to you, boy. Yeah, no, we're not doing that, bro. Like, nah.
I'm done with my shave room for a week.
Bryce, when you having a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Right, you jumping out the window, off the cliff.
All right.
Bryce, I feel like it's time. Are you ready? You got one on the way? You know, quarantine over. So now that you outside, you having a quarantine, baby?
I'm definitely outside though.
You out? Hey, you outside? I mean,
you are.
You outside?
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm outside.
You having a quarantine, baby? Bryce, is it on the way?
Nah, no quarantine though.
What you gonna name your quarantine baby?
Hey man, Bryce, don't get it.
I'm outside though. Just know that I'm outside.
Are you gonna name your son Bryson?
Mm-mm. You know what's crazy?
Bryce outside and inside, if you know what I mean.
You
That's
know,
a fact.
I don't know what you mean.
Come on, my house, brother.
It's crazy.
Bryson, please.
My coworker just had a baby like probably 8 months ago, and she named him that. I'm like, hold on, what's going on here?
Your coworker named her son Bryson?
Yeah.
Does he look like you?
Nah. I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, all the names in the world? Like, cool, okay, that's fine.
I'm just checking. I'm so glad I don't have to go through that anymore.
I might have to miss one of these live periods though, because I'm gonna be outside. So
Anybody
yeah, shit, I got things to do, man. Shit.
It's a
hot boy summer.
I got things to do. I got places to be, man. Hey, one time, so I'll tell you a story. My first summer, I think it might have been like second live period, right? So and I was out of town on a trip, and I went to Philly, not alone. And we went to a wedding. So, you know, as whatever after the wedding, we chilling in the lobby, whatever. I get text message from Sean Williams on the radar. He's like, "Yo, Duke just called me. You know, they about to come watch this kid and Ohio State, and y'all about to play them on Sunday." And I was like, "Oh shit, I got to get up out of Philly." So I changed my flight and got back. Of course, we still lost by 40. Didn't matter. Moral of the story, yeah, it was tough. But Duke really was there. John Shire was watching, and Ohio
I remember
State.
that.
The kid is actually on the roster for Tennessee. He starts for Tennessee. Josiah James.
I remember that.
The crazy thing is, I had 3 Division I kids on that team, and it was Josiah Johnson. He, you know, USA basketball, whatever. We struggled. We only scored 35 points. And there was 3 Division I team players on my team, which is crazy. Anyway, so moral of the story.
Actually, the moral of the story is: did the young lady understand?
Yeah, I want to get back to the wedding. I don't know what Bryce is talking about. I want to get back to this wedding.
Because when you talk about getting married and having babies, a young lady has to understand what it means to be married a coach to a coach.
We completely changed our whole plan. So she understood, and she came back. She watched some of the games. But
how long were y'all together after this happened? Because that's going to tell me how much she understood.
A while. But what I'm saying is, and people can disagree, Cuff probably understands, you spend so much time in the gym, you spend so much time with other people's children and coaching and mentoring, that when you have opportunities to take a break, or
you gotta take them. You gotta take them, man.
Like if I could,
I know for me, like I had to have one. I used to always have to have one right before the season, right after the season, and somewhere before school started back. Like, it was like a mental break, so you could just, refocus, man. Because
we were going from Philly to the wedding, you know what I mean, and then we was gonna spend a couple of days in DC and then come back to Atlanta, and then I changed all of that just for a couple games. Not just for a couple games. It's live period, so it was a big deal. But at the same time, it's like, well, do those kids probably don't even remember that? You know what I mean? Like,
man, it's funny because you like being a college coach. I remember a couple of times, like you only get 2 days for Christmas and you got to be back. Like, and really, it's not really a full 2 days. It's like a day and a half because travel, and then you got to be back on campus because y'all got to play again. I'm like the 27th, 28th. Like,
that's tough.
So, wedding was good. It was cool.
I can't believe we were talking about this.
I don't know if any.
I'm not talking about that, Dre. That's not.
Well,
I'm not even watching that verse.
Oh, that's gonna be the best. That's gonna be probably like top 1, 2, or 3 verses ever done.
I'm not watching that.
No, Soulja Boy got hits,
and he's gonna perform,
and he's gonna put on a show.
He's gonna get
It's
wild.
his time to shine. Just know that.
Now, well, got hits too, but
for the little girls.
I'm just saying, like,
I never had a Bow Wow album, so I'm not. It's not in my playlist.
When Soulja Boy dropped that Pretty Boy swag, hey, shit, don't go crazy.
So that dunk.
Bryce, with this wedding, like, what's your rule on social events? When you have a significant other, are you going to like all the weddings and all the birthday dinners? Like, are you going? Like, I got a cap. I'm not going to all that shit.
Okay, so
I'm not going.
I think that comes with maturity. Like, if because you know what I've learned, I feel like if you go to all, you somehow get yourself into trouble. So not trouble with like you're doing wrong, but like you just like people people just things happen.
You go to all events, that's gonna be. So when do y'all get married?
Somebody gonna be drunk. You know what I mean? Things happen. So
right.
I feel like no, I don't go to all of them. I mean, I don't know now, but I wouldn't go to all of them. But I mean, back then, I probably went to a good amount of them. Because I mean, weddings are different. People, you don't go to weddings all the time.
Women are always looking for a +1 to go to the wedding with.
You ain't looking at the wrong person because I ain't bringing nobody to no weddings.
I didn't say the man's looking. I said the woman's always looking to bring the +1.
Well, either way.
Bryce, you about to get to that age where it's about to start being class reunions. Watch out.
We already had some. I had 10-year reunion already.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people be trying to stunt at them 10-year, 20-year reunions.
Yeah.
2 events, 3 minutes.
We have a coach, Georgia Canes coach, who will be getting married on Saturday. So
what you wearing to the wedding, man?
Man, they try to sell me this Vera Wang jacket. I said, "Come on, man! Like y'all trying to? Nah, we ain't doing that, man. You know."
Hey, you were somewhere where they sold Vera Wang jackets.
Exactly.
That's where I take from that. You were in a place where they sold Vera Wang jackets.
I was just in today's man, like, but I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not doing that. Like, no.
Okay. That'll be a good wedding. Your assistant.
Yeah.
I think she was at Georgia Southern when I was there.
He was. Yeah. So they getting married this weekend, and so I'm just wearing. I think it's black ties, so you got to wear, black. That little tux. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how it goes.
So do you automatically have a tux in your repertoire, Bryce?
Well, I had one. Yeah, I had one, but I had to get it altered, and I didn't like the jacket, so I just went and got a new jacket.
That was a conversation that came up. Should every man, instead of going out and rent a tux, just have a tux in there? Yeah,
I think because from doing my homework and stuff, because I go on YouTube and look at the most random stuff. Yeah. I feel like like with tuxedos, I should say, like they have to fit. You know what I mean? So if you rent them, they may or may not fit you the right way. I don't know. So and depending on your budget, you can always just go to K&G and get one. You know what I mean? And or you I'm not getting no Vera Wang.
Hey, that's where I got mine, Dr. Love. That's where I got mine.
And it fall apart while you on the dance floor.
My thread coming out.
I'm not a classy dude, man. I'm not gonna own a tux.
You know what?
Where are you gonna get
every man over 23 should own a tux and have more than one suit? I agree.
Like, where are you gonna get me to go where I'm gonna wear that? My funeral?
No, when this podcast get big and you have to go to those different kind of affairs, you better have that tux, boy.
I'm gonna want to be somewhere wanting to shoot myself.
What's crazy is I put that tux on. I think the last time I probably wore it, honestly, was like 2010. So I put it on.
Can I wear patent leather Jordans with my tux?
You can wear it. Yeah, people. I mean,
there's a different style now. I mean, a lot of people aren't wearing dress shoes with suits.
I'm not doing it, but
I'm not doing it either. But
yeah, I'm not doing it. If you're wearing Jordans, you need to wear Jordan apparel. But but what's crazy is I put the outfit on, and I'm like, yo, I feel like Carmelo Anthony right now. This shit's super baggy. What was going on? 2010. That jacket was huge.
Wait a minute, Bryce. How much weight did you lose since then?
I didn't lose. I haven't lost any weight. But it was just big. I'm like,
because that back then they weren't. They were making it bigger.
The cuts were different. So
yeah,
like, I am not wearing this.
You know, Mondre still got my double-breasted suits are back in now, but he still had those double-breasted suits about 5 years ago now.
Hey, listen. The crazy part is as country and as uncultured as I am. As my daddy will always say, I dress like a Republican. My suit taste is very, very traditional, very Fox News-ish, for lack of a better phrase.
I'm gonna make you laugh at this situation, but it wasn't funny at the time. You weren't dressed like a Republican that time you went to work, and they were calling the police on you because they thought you didn't work there.
That's a fact.
And like for Huff, I feel like I think it's a Morehouse thing too. Like if you go when you enroll or something like that, or like NSO, they make you like you have.
They talk to you about so many things that you should know as a man. So like I'm pretty sure. I hope I'm not wrong, but I think Bryce knows place settings. Like when you go to different places that you don't eat with the soup spoon and all that kind of stuff. Like
they do a lot of that stuff when you get on there. So I feel like that just kind of carries on. You know what I mean? And then. Because a lot of schools aren't going to teach you how to.
Nah, they're not going to teach you that, man.
How to pick out a suit or what color to wear to interview. So
no, man, I had to.
What did you do when you got married? What did you wear?
I had a period. No, I wear them. I had a period of about 8 years where I had to wear suits to work, like almost every day. So
when I first got into teaching, man,
it's
so crazy how it's changed, right? When I first got into teaching, you had to wear a shirt and tie every day except Friday.
Yeah.
That's changed now. Yeah.
So I was for work. I mean, my job, it got a little more casual as the years went by. Like it became the thing. It started with like jeans on Fridays. Right. And then
let me ask y'all this as you're talking about that. Do you think that has hurt or helped our young people as they grow up? Because I think sometimes they struggle with knowing what's appropriate to wear to certain things.
I think when they see people are dressed up professionally, they say, "Well, I wonder what's going on." Not professionally, but you know, of course, they tend to take things a little bit more seriously. I think they do notice that with your uniform. Yeah,
I'm not around as many young people, but one thing, I'm not around as many young people in that type of setting as you guys would be. But one thing that I am happy with the young people is I think they code switch less.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually healthy. I think one of the greatest things in the world, like I used to work for or not work for, but work with a lady, Lynn Lucas. She went on to work for Google. She's doing great things. I think she works for Amazon now. She's like super awesome. But one of the greatest things about her that I told her, she was so unapologetically Black. And I remember her being the first person that was unapologetically Black at work. Like big earrings, afro, like she was Black. She was a Black woman. And you grow up in the business early, especially tech, corporate, Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, that's not okay, that's not professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think from a mental health standpoint that's actually healthy to code switch as much as we do sometimes.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. Now, of course there is professional like you don't want to work
and I think it depends on the age too. Like if you're a high school age person, they definitely see, oh, okay, like when we have some prison, you know what I mean? Where younger kids, it just depends, I think, where you are.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could wear a shirt and tie every day though.
Man, I was so happy when I have to do it, bro. So happy when I was done with it. we saw a lot of basketball, man.
Yeah.
Want to talk about this the team camps a little bit?
Yeah.
We got a college coach here. So Huff, from a coach's perspective, 12 courts going on at once. I felt like nobody puts it on like Georgia, but what are your thoughts as a college coach?
Got to have a plan. And for me, you better have a plan of who you're going to look for, like, or where you're going. Like, we can keep it a buck here. Bryce texted me and said, what you looking at? What's your schedule like? And I was driving at the time, and I got to a point. I said, Bryce, this was my schedule. And I had.
You know why I did that? You know why I did that? Because I looked at the app and I said, this is a lot of games, and I'm only going to be here for maybe 5 hours. Like, who can I see? That, you know what I mean? That's why I did that.
But I do think that, you can it can make you go crazy, man. If you're not, to me, I don't know how other college coaches do, but to me, you could go crazy just looking at that app and trying to figure out, well, what am I supposed to be watching? Because then you can get caught up in just watching who everybody knows, which for me is not somebody I'm going to get anyway. So, to me, you got to plan that thing out, man. And we were lucky at Voorhees where I was in Atlanta. James, Coach Williams was in South Carolina, and Coach O was in North Carolina, man. And just trying to find guys that a lot of people don't know, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. You offer a kid, and then next thing you know, he blows up.
Well, you know how it is.
Happens a lot when you offer. I felt like Georgia put on again in June.
It was having been to multiple states and obviously have been a part of this event before, and now on the other side watching, man. I just think there's so many players in Georgia. Like, you don't have to play. And let me make sure I say this the right way. Like, every player is not playing on that nationally ranked team or the teams that you know about. There are guys that's playing on court 12, court 1, court 9 that have players. And I think the weekend started with kind of coaches being around certain guys or certain teams. And then the next thing you know, I mean, Dre, I think we were in a certain place, and this same team or guys were playing a game, let's say 5 hours earlier or the day before, and there were 2 coaches there. And then you come back the next day or 5 hours later, and there wasn't a seat on the baseline that wasn't filled by a college coach. So,
for sure.
I think that shows the kind of talent that was available, not just from Georgia, the teams they had from out of state. Yes, we gave them some trouble about bringing in some teams from out of state, but Dr. Phillips, man, that probably was the best team at team camp, and there's no doubt about it.
Very tough. Dr. Phillips was tough. I do want to shout you out, Huff. There were yourself and some other coaches that were doing a lot of hunting on the back courts and the side courts. I did, however, bump into a lot of coaches that I asked, "Hey, coach, who you watching? What's your game plan? What you looking for?" And more than I thought I would hear of was, man, I don't know. Like,
well,
no
Dre,
we're here trying to find a player.
Well, I think part of that is because you got to realize it's been 16 months.
Yeah, it's been a long time since
college coaches can see you live.
Yeah.
And you can send me as much film as you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see if you're really 6'6" on the film.
Yeah.
I can kind of see what your motor's like, but I can't really see it. I can't see your body language on the bench.
Right.
I can't see your whole shooting form. If you think about it, there's no disrespect to Lake Point. Let me make sure I say that clear. But if you get film from a Lake Point AAU game, I can't even tell who number it is.
Nah, they gonna look like.
Hey, so Huff, you saying that? I had a specific conversation with a college coach. We were watching a player who is pretty good in his own right. He has multiple Division I offers, and I was watching him, and he goes, "Coach, is this kid really any good?" And I was like, yeah, he's good. Well, I mean, on film, we loved him, but he's not explosive at all.
And that's what you can't. A lot of that you can't see on film.
Yeah, you
and
can't.
then you got to add to the other aspect, especially when you're talking. Well, I'm not even gonna say just them. All the college coaches are saying, "Is this high school kid going to be better than somebody I can find in the transfer portal?"
JUCO transfer portal. Yep.
And that's the truth. That's the way. That's the lay of the land right now. And I think that's something parents and players have to understand right now. Like, and if it's a young kid getting an offer, understand that if you're in 9th or 10th grade and you're getting that offer, you probably can't commit to them right now. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but that offer is there so they can build that relationship. They think you have potential to be good enough.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's a committable offer.
Even if you can commit, you still can't sign on the dotted line. So,
right.
And they can still take it away from you by the time you get to that point. Or they can move on to a whole other school. Things happen so much in recruiting. But I mean, from my standpoint, I thought it was a good introduction or reintroduction to what a live period looks like.
Correct.
I think as time goes on, like for me, it was cool because usually you can't get into that area where the coaches are and you can't mingle with them. But like, since we know a lot of them, or I know a good amount of them, I could just walk up and down Lake Point. Yo, what's good? You know what I'm saying? And chop it up with them for a minute. Yo, what you looking for? Or what y'all got going on? What you don't like? So I thought that was pretty cool. But usually you can't do that. You know what I mean? Especially if you're just like a spectator, you can't do that. And I was just a spectator.
Well, and especially for you, Bryce, because most of the time when that's happening, you're coaching AAU-wise, so you're on the other side of it. You know?
Yeah. Right.
It was good as a coach to get back out. You know, obviously your D2 and NAIA and D3 guys and JUCO guys have been able to be out during this time period. But it was good. Like, there was some camaraderie aspects of not seeing some guys that you haven't seen on the road in a minute, you know, just to chop it up with them, to talk with them. But it was good to see that environment come back. You know, to be honest, as a basketball coach, we miss that, man. You miss being in the gym where you're in a place like that and you're saying, man, that feel comes back, you know, where you're watching all these games. You like that joke comes in me when I'm like, man, who can I find that nobody else knows that can help me win some ball games at Voorhees? That was huge for me, man. Like,
I mean, even for AAU coach, like for me, we've gone off the unsigned thing at the beginning. And the point of the unsigned thing was to play in April in front of coaches.
Yep.
That's the whole point of the business model. Without the coaches, you know what I mean? Well, what are we doing? So,
and you know what, Bryce? I think this is where I actually think the NCAA got it right. Like, I think this high school live period can help more players. And what I mean by that is because there may be a kid, even for you, Bryce, that's on your team that has to play a totally different role than he does for his high school team.
Yeah.
And to see them in both aspects can now take a guy from, well, I think I like him, but I don't love him. That's a great term that a lot of college coaches use. I like him, but I don't love him. And he can see him with you, Bryce, in April and be like, well, I like him, but I don't love him. And then see him in totally different with his high school and go, man, this kid is pretty good. Like there's a guy who picked up some offers, who plays on an AAU team and gets about 2 minutes a game. He plays on a high school team this last weekend, and he got 2 offers and then a D1 offer out of it. So,
yeah, I mean, and as a coach, as a college coach, they're gonna, you know, you want to see them play for the high school program, and you want to see them play for an AAU. You know what I mean? Because even sometimes, if like in an AAU, especially like in an independent game, let's say you're playing a team like One Family or Showtime Ballers, shit, on the floor, it might be 10 college players at one time. So you want to see how them 10 dudes are playing against each other, how high level that game is. So that's the only differences I kind of saw. I felt like, and like I said, I could be completely wrong because I wasn't there that much. I was only there for 4 or 5 hours, but I felt like a lot of the bigger schools obviously got more of the attention. But
I think that happened early too, Bryce, because you were there that Friday.
Yeah,
I think Friday was what I was talking about. A lot of people, especially some of the guys who hadn't been on the road, maybe they didn't know kind of what they were trying to look at, some guys may have changed teams.
Yeah.
You know, how good is this guy? Where they playing at? You know, and they were trying to. Some guys were trying to get more bang for their buck. If I've got Dr. Phillips versus Milton, I've probably got 10 you know,
That's
guys
true.
on the court. Or if I'm watching, you know, Norcross or Grayson, I'm just trying to think of names.
Yeah.
You know, who played Windermere Prep, who was out of Florida. Like you're watching those kind of teams. Or,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I think there was some work being done. I think a lot of kids got looks. They got offers this weekend from a lot of different levels. I think this weekend will be the same. You know, and we realize that last weekend the battle was most states did theirs last weekend. So Georgia was competing against the South Carolinas and North Carolinas. You know, Texas, like you said. You know, New York and New Jersey had one. There were events everywhere last weekend. This weekend is not as many. And so this weekend is why you see even some of the better out-of-state teams coming in, like a Dorman from South Carolina. You know, so
why didn't the bigger schools hold off until the second week, like Milton and Norcross?
Hold off. I don't think. If I go back, I think they're in both. But I think initially you had to choose which weekend you wanted, and at that time you didn't know what was going to happen.
Got you. The JUCO showcase is this weekend. That's good.
The JUCO showcase is this weekend in Montgomery. It's definitely where, you know, there are going to be a lot of coaches there. You know,
so things that people on the outside don't always know what we do on the inside. Like we have a kid that is playing in the JUCO event this weekend, and his mom didn't know it was a live period. And the kid works at Publix or Kroger or something. And I found out that he was going to work on Saturday. And I called his mom and I said, no, you're going to have to go to the JUCO showcase. Like you're going to have to take off from Publix on Saturday and go. Like it's 50 Division I coaches going to be there. So imagine, you know what I mean? Like imagine if the kid, so a lot of people, they don't know what we do. They don't know what we do, but I thought it was good, man. It was good to see, you know, I saw Georgia State and Presbyterian, a lot of the low major, mid majors that always tend to recruit independent kids. I saw a lot of them out, which was good.
How do low major Division I coaches feel about being called low major?
Why run from what you are? Like that's like me saying it's like me saying I don't want to be called the HBCU. Like why would I do that?
And they still get paid.
I mean, low major.
I just look at a facial expression when I hear low major around a low major Division I coach, and it's always like a grimace a little bit, like when I see their face.
Well, I think you got to take it as, I think when you're putting them into that category, I think it should only be put into that category based off resources. Because there are some low major schools who are technically mid-major because they win all the time. Mm-hmm. There's some mid-major schools who don't win all the time, but resource-wise, they're a mid-major school. Conference-wise, they're a mid-major school.
But Dre, I had
what's the indicator? What's the line between low major and mid-major?
As far as resources, to me, it's how much money you have to raise, how many money games you have to go buy.
Yeah, I see that.
Or have to go get. I'm sorry, not go buy.
But Dre, like I was talking to a low major coach over the weekend, and we were talking about a couple kids that have had in the past that were transferring, and he was saying that, well, you got to look at the data. Look at the data on how many kids go to these bigger schools and they end up at lower schools. So I think they understand where they are. You know what I mean? And I don't think they really have an issue. At the end of the day, you still hired. You're getting paid.
And let me go back to something you said earlier, because that was a comment somebody made, college coach. Some of those guys that were watching, you said they were always watching the big name teams. Mm-hmm. They're watching them to make sure they have intel on them when they fall back to them.
When they fall through. When they can say, "Oh, well, I'm about to transfer," he recruited me too,
and you know him already. You're not trying to figure him out. Like what?
That's what happened. That's actually what happened with the last kid that we had to transfer. He went to Conference USA, big mid-major basketball, and another school had been recruiting him heavily, and they had a relationship, and he transferred, and it was a no-brainer for him. Oh, well, I'm going to go over here. They like me. They love me. So. It was cool though. It was good, man. To get that summer feel back. You know what I mean? That summer basketball feel different.
I mean, but this year is going to be even different than you got 3 weekends this year, but you haven't had in how long, Bryce?
I don't think I've ever had 3 weekends.
I think you had 2, right?
It's 2 in April, 2 in July.
Yeah, so you got 3 weekends. It's gonna be
July is usually when the things jumping for real. I feel like
Yeah.
so it's gonna be really interesting, man. We talked about in the coaching realm. A lot of the coaches had to get their sea legs back. Haven't been out in 16 months, being in the gym from 9 a.m. in the morning to 9 p.m. at night. Like,
shout out to the coach from North Florida. Donuts on Sunday.
Hey, that's Coach Driscoll's thing. I tweeted about it. I said, I know it's live period again when it's a Sunday and Coach Driscoll's walking around with donuts offering to people. That's his thing, man. Love Coach Driscoll.
That is awesome. That is something that you never forget. So I'm never going to forget him because of that. That was great. And I was hungry. There were a lot of offers that went out. When you combine team camp and this live opening camp, there are a lot of offers that went out. Huff, you touched on something, you and Bryce, that I want to get back to, and those are the offers to freshmen and sophomores right now. How do people gauge what that means, right? I told her, I was having a conversation with a parent, and I told her, I said, well, sometimes people will get an offer and they never hear from that school again. She was shocked or amazed that happens. You guys have a lot of experience dealing with that. How frequently does something like that happen? What do these offers mean to the young guys? Should they be keeping in contact with the coaches? Do the coaches keep in contact with them? Not always.
Well, as a freshman or sophomore, they can't contact you.
Right. They can
offer you, but you can't have contact with them. So that goes back to what I said now. Like, it's just to start the relationship. So such and such knows that Georgia Tech has offered them. And now they're following him to make sure
they tracking him.
Yeah, he's going to be good enough. Right. Yeah. So when that period comes for that 2023 and whatever that date is at 12 noon, midnight.
It was like June 16th.
That college coach, that D1 college coach, let me make that clear, can reach out to him. Then that's when you start to see. And then I'll take it even further. If somewhere throughout your junior year, senior year, and you've been offered by a school and you haven't heard from the head coach, you probably can't commit to that school. I'm pretty sure of it. Like if there's a kid that says they have an offer from Voorhees and they haven't heard from me, at some particular point.
I think that's important too, that you haven't heard from the head coach, because a lot of times we're dealing with an assistant coach.
If a kid, in my opinion, like if a kid gets an offer early, you probably won't end up going there. But I think it's good because it says, okay, that I'm obviously good. I'm there. I'm getting there, or I'm there. So like Huck said, they can track you. So other schools can always. So you can't really take it away. So you can take it away in the sense that you can't commit, but you can't take it away in the sense that, yes, I was offered. And if I go on verbal commits, it's going to still say whatever school it says. So in that sense, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
What do you tell the kid, Bryce, though? What do you tell the kid?
Well, at the end of the day, the kid and the parents still got to play their cards right. And the kids still got to continue to get better because
they got to understand, just because they have, like, kids can get
cut off lower level schools, Bryce.
No, you can't do that. You can't do that because
you won't cut off nobody until you sign.
Because here's an example, and there could be a guy, even as a senior, that has NAI offers and gets a Division I offer going into his senior year. But remember, we talked about there are kids who play on an AAU team who don't really play. Like, say he only gets 2 minutes. So that Division I team may go see him and like, man, I don't know about that. So they're not contacting him. But he still has that offer from that Division I program. You as a parent or a player have to now understand that, well, I can't commit to that Division I school no matter what I say or do. So where am I really as far as what level I should go to? Just because you have an offer from a Division I program doesn't mean that makes you a Division I player, especially if that's your only one.
The timing's got to be right.
Yeah.
And that's what like I said, it's good because you can't take it away from me. Yeah, like I'm good enough for them to recognize me. But at the end of the day, if you don't continue to work, they not gonna sign you by the time it's time for you to have your signing day. So it's good if you get it early on. It's bad if you don't have that level when you get to that point.
Let's kind of take it through the process. 9th and 10th grade, and we're talking strictly Division I right now. You get the offer from a Division I, right, as a 9th and 10th grader. They can't contact you. They can go through your high school coach. They can go through your AAU coach and all that. You better make sure whatever that date is, June 16, midnight, that you're getting contacted by those same schools that offer you. Then after that, can you see those same schools watching at the high school team camp, at the AAU games, during your junior, that junior period of spring and summer, right? Then are those schools asking you to come on unofficial visits, or maybe invite you to elite camp, right? And then when you get to your senior year, well, what schools are inviting you for an official visit?
That's
how you got to break this thing down, man.
Yeah.
If that school's not telling you they want you to visit that campus,
if they're not calling you and they're not trying to press you out, 9 times out of 10, you probably can't go there.
And realize, parents, and we're talking a lot of stuff here. If you get on campus, right, that staff is expecting you to commit. So
if it's an official,
if it's an official visit, so you're talking about you may get 2 weeks. Because best believe me, and I'm gonna keep it as real as possible. There are plenty of guys or college coaches. There's a list that they have, and every position has more than one player. So don't believe you're the only person at that position they recruit.
Even if they tell you.
Even if they tell you that,
but you know what, Dre? Honestly, a lot of them are honest and tell you like, nah, like we gonna give them 2 weeks. I got nothing to do. They from my experience, they honest.
Yep.
So, and the kids and the parents, like you don't have forever. You got to make up your mind. But the thing is, if you're hot and you've got 7, 8 offers and you hot, then shit, you got time. You kind of in control of your situation for the most part because you always got somewhere to go. But if not,
what is it where you want to go? See, that's the other key now.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a different kind of topic because I think a lot of people have offers and it's not where they want to go, but they don't understand that that's not how the game works.
True.
Like, I think y'all dropping up on that. My bad, Bryce. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I feel like people think that basketball is like this offering thing is like I can pick and choose where I want to be offered to and where I want to go, and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. It does not. It's like school has to have a position, a need, and an offer and a scholarship available. It could be in Las Vegas, Nevada, but you want to live in Washington, D.C. It doesn't work like that.
And also realize that they could have offered you as a junior. I even take it as junior year, and then things change before you get to be a senior. They went and got a transfer out the portal. They found a JUCO. Now they don't need that position. Like you got to really don't take it as a shot, man. They offered this kid, but they ain't offer me, and y'all not even the same position.
They don't know. Yeah,
they don't need that position. And they have to understand every coach and coaching staff like certain things. There might be offers to guys. There might be a coaching staff that doesn't like small guards. So don't get mad if you're a 5'11" guard and they haven't offered you. This is not saying you can't play. That coaching staff doesn't look for that.
Right. And that coach might be in Idaho. So you know what I mean? Like you don't you just cannot pick and choose.
I heard a lot of coaches talking about this weekend too. When we were talking about specific type of players, it was like, yeah, we offered this kid. Yeah, we like that other kid, but we offered this kid because this is the type of kid that we've generally been successful with.
So that's the type of kid that fits their program. Like you got to understand, some coaches can't coach certain guys. They can't coach a dude who's a real dog, and y'all know what I mean about a real dog.
Yes.
And at the college coaching level, there are dudes that understand I can't coach that type of dude.
I can't handle him.
Yeah,
you can.
Or my college can't handle him, or the place I'm at, he'll go wild if he comes down here.
Huff, didn't you mention that there were certain schools who, because of the APR, would have to recruit certain kids also?
Yeah,
That could be an APR trophy.
they've kind of done, at least the next 2 years, kind of pushed APR back. But when APR is in effect, like when I was at Alcorn State, we couldn't recruit a high school kid that had less than a 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you're looking at a list and you go, well, I like that kid, he's out of 2.7.
Yeah.
And that 2.7 can get him into school, technically, but he can't because we want APR issues. Right.
Yeah.
And then when you start, especially when you take away Division I now, and this is where like we could have a whole conversation about why Division I is so different than every other division when you get an offer. Because at Division II on down, you're probably not getting a full athletic scholarship. It's probably going to be split.
Academic or something.
Academics or something, just something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I'm at a school with a limited, either D2 has a scholarship equivalency, right? The scholarship level is 10 at D2s. Some schools can get 8.8, some get all 10, some may only get 6, right? So now if I know I can get a kid a lot of academic money, he has a 3.8, well, you better be really good to have a 2.3, then I'm going to have to give you a whole lot of my athletic money to get you to get in school. Or I'm going to have to give you a whole scholarship instead of being able to split that scholarship with somebody else. And parents and players understand that just because you're splitting a scholarship, just because you're getting academic money and athletic money, don't mean it's not an offer. It don't mean it's not a scholarship. It don't mean you ain't coming there to play basketball. It's all the same.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One thing I want to talk to you about too, Huff. There were a lot of commitments that I know of that were based on the opportunity to redshirt, walk on, redshirt opportunities. Talk about that in your experience about what some of those guys can expect when they come on campus, and what that redshirt opportunity is really about.
Like when you got to think about that redshirt opportunity, I'll use Adam Flagler as an example. His was because he transferred. But I guarantee you, we see how good Adam Flagler is for Baylor because of the year he sat out, been able to practice with them every day, weight room, all that kind of stuff is huge. You're a part of the basketball program, you just don't play, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're talking about coming in as a freshman, you know, you can only play a certain amount of games before the red shirt goes off, right? If you have that opportunity, I think it's something you need to look at.
You need to do it. Yeah.
Because just because they're saying you're a red shirt doesn't mean they're not giving you a scholarship either now.
You don't want to, and if you ain't going to play quality minutes, you don't want to use that year.
Right.
And sit out in red shirt and just work on your game and work on your grades.
So that's a little bit different than if they're telling you to come on and be a walk-on.
Yeah.
Which means they're not giving you any athletic money.
Right.
Okay. And many times at the D1 level, they tell you to be a walk-on. You may not play. I'm just going to keep it. You probably won't be playing.
You're probably not going to play.
You're going to be a great practice player for them. Running the other players, running the scout team stuff for the other team. And are you okay with that? Some people are okay. And let's be honest, there are some people who have moved from being a walk-on and eventually got a scholarship. It happens.
Do you have any off the top of your head that you know?
It's happened at Louisville.
I think the kid Eder from Georgia, who got in the game late in the season, I think they gave him a scholarship now.
Yeah, it's happened at Louisville multiple times. Guys go from being a walk-on to earning a scholarship. I've also seen guys at Louisville go from being a walk-on guy to earning a scholarship to transferring and going somewhere else and playing.
Yeah.
Because still, even though they were awarded a scholarship for, I guess, being a great worker at practice, being, a great teammate or whatever, they still weren't getting the minutes that they necessarily wanted and eventually transferred to go somewhere and play.
I don't know. I haven't had any.
It's not a lot, Bryce, but there's
any connections with any walk-ons that end up earning any type of scholarship.
It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Didn't Kenny Burns play at Kennesaw State?
I mean, he got some time.
Yeah,
he was a walk-on, right?
I
don't know. I mean, I'm thinking. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the details on that.
Yeah, I thought he was a walk-on. I could be wrong. I've seen it not as much. I think what Huff was saying, not as much at the D1 level.
Well, now the other levels that can happen a lot more frequently at other
levels. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Bryce, as far as red shirt goes, you had a kid red shirt at Furman, and your kid looks great after his red shirt year. His body looked great.
That's what that red shirt year does, man. It changes that body.
And I think he needed to do it too. Well, not needed to, but I think it helped for him to do it too because he was also, I think he was younger. So now he's actually the correct age of a sophomore. You know what I mean? And so he got his body right, his mind right, and learned how to compete at that college level. So, I mean, I'm in favor of it. I don't, you know.
As a parent, you've got to really sit down and weigh these options.
But his situation was different though. Like they still offer him. You know what I mean? Yeah, like
that's why I said most red shirts are getting an offer. They're still getting their athletic scholarship.
Right, he was still on a scholarship, and I think they decided to redshirt him later on once he got on campus and stuff like that. I think,
but that's where parents have to understand. If this school comes to you and says they want you to red, they want your son, but they want him to red shirt. So now you got to look at that. Okay. He's already going to be there. He's not losing a year eligibility, and I'm getting scholarship money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you got to turn that to say, well, do I want to go prep? Where let's just say 50% of the time, most kids going prep are going to have to pay. 50% of them are going to have to pay something.
Yeah, they paying right now.
Right. So I was trying to keep, or do you want to go JUCO, which could help the kid?
Yep.
Which is going to lose at least a year eligibility.
At least.
Mm-hmm. Stay 2 years, you're going to lose 2, right? And all those options have helped different people. You talk about the kid that you had in with the Furman. Red shirting at Furman helped him. But there have been kids like DJ Patrick who goes JUCO, right? That
DJ helped him. Went prep, then JUCO.
So that helped him.
Yeah.
Right?
It's gonna end up helping DJ Patrick more than anybody because he kind of got blessed because COVID. So he went prep, year didn't count, and then he goes JUCO, the year doesn't count. So now he's going into South Florida as like a
legit freshman.
Yeah, like a 20-year-old freshman. Like so for people like that, it helps you because it's gonna mature you, your body's gonna be where it needs to be, your mind, all that. So
but it all goes back.
Of course, everybody's path is different. And that's what I have come to really realize while doing a lot of these older kids and stuff like that, man. Like one kid might get hot and have a bunch of offers and then get on campus and struggle. And one kid might have to take the prep route and then he eventually catches up, but he might play more when he gets on campus. It's crazy. Like you never know how the cards, how they play out. Like,
and that's where parents just do your research. AAU coaches, high school coaches, players do your research. Research that program and that staff, and what kind of kids do they take? Are they taking freshmen that normally don't play and redshirt or play very little? Do they not like? Some people want to be recruited by these schools and don't realize that program doesn't take. Let's be honest. I mean, and Coach Riley is my guy. Tyler Shirley is probably one of the only freshmen on South Alabama's roster right now. He ain't a freshman like that.
Yeah,
I asked him about it this weekend. He said Tyler's doing great, but
that's real talk though.
Yeah, he's not taking. He's not looking at a high school dude.
Man, I knew a kid who played for us a couple years ago. His college coach said, "Hey, man, ain't nothing against you, but I don't like freshmen. You don't play."
One of the other things that you pointed out on this podcast previously too is that people immediately think, "Well, I'm going to go to college and develop my freshman year." And you pointed out how many programs don't have a trainer or somebody over player development on staff. Right. That you may be working out with a grad assistant or something like that they don't have anybody.
With a grad assistant, you could be, I don't know. I mean, you're seeing now an influx of director of player development, especially at your bigger schools, or having guys on staff that are kind of the guy that gets players better. But you look at Georgia Tech, and I'll just use him as an example. Eric Ravenel, the assistant there, there's no if you ever want to know why their bigs get better, all you got to do is look at him. Every big they've had, Ben Lammers, James Banks, Moses Wright, like those guys get better. And a lot of that is his credit for what he does to get those guys better.
Kenny Payne in Kentucky.
Huh?
Kenny Payne in Kentucky.
So you got to look at stuff like that. Like parents, look at that development of a program. Well, what guys have come in as freshmen and gotten increasingly better every year? Like those, instead of just always looking at, well, who's offering me and who's the biggest name, or, you know, or even go to, I'll just use our program because I can't talk about, we've had guys that commit to us, and I think James is on here, he's typing in, that said they just felt we showed them love. Like we showed them more love than anybody else showed them, because when we really want you, we want you. We're not sugarcoating it. Like we're not saying we want you today. Oh, and then I see Bryce's team next week, but I want that kid more than I want this kid right here. Like, so we really show them love and we show them what we're really about. And we're honest and truthful with guys. And I think that's what parents and players got to understand in high school and AAU coaches. Find those coaches that's going to be honest with you, that's going to tell you the real. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat you about Voorhees and tell you, oh, we got the best gym in the world. We're in the best city in the world. I'm not going to lie to you about that. I'm going to tell you the truth. If you're coming for a fancy gym in a big city, then we probably got to stop talking. But if you want to come to a family and get developed and win and get better, then come to Voorhees. Don't let them sugarcoat you and sell you a dream that's not true.
You sound like Snoop at the Bob Awards.
You don't want. Nah, it sound like Suge, right? You don't want your producer dancing all in your videos. And we do, James. Yes, we do.
My issue with Huff is.
Uh-oh.
Talk to him, Pete.
I ain't offer one of your dudes. That's what's
Oh, wait, look, man. Huff be mad when you tell him about somebody and he come watch. Say, why you ain't tell me? But then when you tell him about somebody, he don't offer him.
Bryce, you want me to offer the dude the very first time I see the dude, not even at your AAU game.
Yeah, I know. I ain't coaching. I know he playing well.
Hey, Bryce, once you see him dunking warm-ups, hey, Huff.
You better offer him right then. But I will tell you this, Bryce. Bryce, I also have to understand too, and this is not, you've had some guys I have like, you got a guy, I can't say that.
Say his position.
He's a 4.
Don't do it, Huff. Don't do it, Huff.
But
they watching.
You've got guys. I have to understand if I really have a chance with a guy or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the kid at the time doesn't have any offers, or he has like a Division II.
What Division II though?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just like,
hey, but you know what's gonna happen when Huff offer? We know who's gonna offer behind Huff.
You about to make me black my screen out, man.
We know who's coming behind Huff.
Hey, Coach Reedy, stop now. You ain't supposed to be paying attention. Stay in Alabama, Coach Reedy.
When Huff offers, who typically offers after Huff?
A D1.
Talking about Jacksonville?
Hey, back in my screen out.
It'd be a bunch of NAIAs that offer after.
Hey,
Huff.
We were watching a game, and I won't say anybody's name. We were watching a game over the weekend, and there was a 6'9" kid going against a 6'10" kid, and there were all of these coaches on the sideline watching the game, and Huff goes, "I'm the only college coach in here that's offered both of them." And he was right. Everybody was in here watching. He was like, I offered these guys a long time ago.
Knew about him before everybody was sitting there watching.
Is that because Huff has been able to get out before everybody, or what you mean?
It probably is a combination of both, to be honest, Bryce. Like being able to get out, but also doing my research. Like Coach Reedy's on here. Coach Reedy's out all the time too. Like, so we know guys kind of before other people know guys. But it's also doing your research. Like,
I know who one of the guys you offered. I ain't gonna say his name, but
Man, they got so mad at me that Huff offered. I don't to this
Why they
day
got
I don't understand why they got mad at me that Huff offered. I have no idea.
Huff know everybody in the business, so you know.
But here, I'll use a prime example. There was a guy when we first got to Voorhees that I saw, and I said, "Man, this kid can go. He has nothing right now." And obviously, we offered him, but I knew the kid was going to be like, if we got him at Voorhees, I was going to be like, "Man, ooh." But I knew then, like, we had no chance to get him. And Mondre, you got a chance to see him when you came to Denmark. And before that happened, I told Mondre, I said, "Man, this dude is a 6'7" point guard." Mondre was like, "What? No, he's not." Okay.
Let me tell you something. Bryce, let me tell you something.
I saw the tweets.
That kid, I don't want to say that because it's going to sound disrespectful if I say what I want to say. That kid, if he comes here, was a McDonald's. He would, if he lived in Atlanta for 2 years, he would be a pro.
But South Carolina has good basketball programs and stuff like that. So
they do.
The platform that he would be put on.
Well, they got Upward Stars. They got all types of.
They have pockets. And see, this is what I mean. Like, so you get the Greenville area. You got the Low Country. And James always talks about this because he's our South Carolina guy for my program. And then they got the Columbia area. They have little pockets. But you have more than those players in just those little pockets in South Carolina who never get seen. Now, you talk about being a non-shoe team. Well, think about in South Carolina, if you're not playing for Upward Stars or, you're not playing for one of those, like, how many times do you get seen?
That kid like that.
Didn't he sign in South Carolina?
Yeah, because he blew up after that.
Damn.
He like that.
Yeah,
and I hate to say that South Carolina stole one. When it's a kid from South Carolina, they stole one.
Don't you think they had to know about the kid at South Carolina?
No.
He didn't have an offer from them. His highest offer was Radford and North Carolina.
And that came later.
Oh, interesting.
He liked Bryce. He liked that. I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro.
We're gonna see.
We'll
see soon.
I don't think we're gonna see. They're gonna play big shots in July. They're not coming here.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's going to South Carolina University, so we'll see eventually.
I mean, he's got to get stronger. There's some things he's got to work on, but I mean, every freshman's got to work on.
South Carolina gets those kids like that, like PJ Dozier. They be long and lanky, and they
buddy. I sure ran and told CY about him.
CY probably said, "Man."
I mean, I had a couple of people that I had told about him that hit me up, and they were too late because by Monday morning he was going to South Carolina. And I had told him like months ago.
Huff, you had been in contact with the kid already, like recruiting him?
I talk to the kid all the time. He was down the street from me. Shoot. Him and the dad, like.
And they were going to commit. Like, were they close to it?
To us, I mean, if he probably hadn't got some D1 stuff, we had a chance, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I
mean, we knew once the D1 stuff started rolling in, it was going to be tough. We were trying to, sell him on doing something different and staying home. His dad's a Voorhees alum, so.
Oh, okay, gotcha. How many students go to Voorhees? Like, how big is that school?
Right now we're at about 350, but that was pre-pandemic. We want to get back to 1,000, man. That's when we really had things going at Voorhees when we had 1,000 kids on campus. And then in a year, next year we won't even be Voorhees College. We'll be Voorhees University. So that's going to really change things for us. Having a grad program, being a university, kind of sets us up different.
They'll get state funding. Is it private?
We'll still be private, but you'll get more funding. We're backed by the Episcopal Church, so we always have funding. Even during the pandemic, we didn't have money trouble. So that's the big thing about us, man, is that we
had more students. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Well, we did before the pandemic. Obviously there were kids that didn't come back because of the pandemic because we did everything online. Some people didn't want to do that, but I think all institutions lost enrollment.
Yeah, everybody something probably.
So now it's just a matter of getting them back. Like I guess every school's gonna be back to normal, but like we are. So when we start in August, it's regular again. Gonna be doing them class checks.
That's a fact. Hey, Huff, I want to give you an opportunity. I don't know if you need to like go dark or if you can just stay silent while we talk about kids. I don't know what the rule is, but before we end the show,
I'll stay silent.
Okay, before we end the show, I just wanted to talk about some kids that are and teams that just played that we feel like played well. Who's beating Newton, Bryce?
Well, they still got to beat Milton. That should be the question. Who's beating Milton?
That's fair. That's fair.
Right?
That's true. No, that's fair.
Like, and then they added Chase Cormier, so they're gonna be tough to beat. I don't care how hard your guys play. We talking about high level IQ guys that have been playing basketball at high level since they was in middle school. So
Bryce getting spicy. Hey, for people who don't know, who don't normally listen to the show, Bryce got spicy with that. I don't care how hard you play comment. That's Bryce getting spicy a little bit. That's Bryce basically saying, I don't care about all that rah-rah shit. You got to be able to hoop.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. You got to play hard. But I'm saying at the same time, you still got to know how to play the game. You still got to be able to make the right, you know what I'm saying? If you got to cross over, you got to be able to do that. If you got to do this or that, you got to and that's what Milton does that they're going to be tough to beat. Like their guard play is going to be next level. Their backcourt is different. You got Ken, Bruce, and Chase Cormier. Come on, bro. Come on now.
So I think this is a great conversation. I really want to see. I'm not gonna pick against the Bruce Thornton, Chase Cormier backcourt. I'm not gonna necessarily pick against that.
And Carlisle.
And Kanan Carlisle. Very true. Kanan Carlisle's a dog, by the way. But if there is a backcourt that can rival that, it's Newton County.
They can rival it because they're coming along. They're coming into their own. But we're talking we're talking about high been there before. And I think
will Chase Cormier stay happy at Milton?
I think he'd be fine. He's gonna play enough. He's gonna play so many minutes that he's gonna get his shots. I think he'll be fine. They're gonna be tough.
I want to see that matchup is gonna be a lot of fun. Jakai Newton.
I'm going with Milton.
Castle.
They're younger. They're younger.
Yeah, they're younger.
They're younger. Like I said, they're coming into their own. They are going to they building something special. But we're talking about dudes that have already won a state championship, who are going to Ohio State, who are other high majors, whatever, high IQ players, backup. I don't think they worried about that, to be honest. Like, that's just my opinion. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
And he's still talking about Kendall Campbell. Like, they got some dudes. They got enough dudes to win again.
To be the man, you got to beat the man. And Milton is the man.
Yeah, they man.
So, ain't no doubt about it. Will Burkmar or Grayson have anything to say? Are we really just looking over Grayson because we ain't talked about none of their kids?
I don't really know who
Tyrese Elliott. Is he on that same level with the same guys like the Bruce Thorntons and the Jakai Newtons and Castle and all those guys? Is he at that level?
Tyrese Elliott, nice.
We talking about Tyrese Elliott and Robert Cowher in the backcourt at Grayson. That's no backcourt to sneeze at either.
That's tough. That's gonna get them real far too. But we're talking about three-headed monster. It's three dudes you got to deal with. That's a lot.
Will Chauncey Williams be that third guy that we expect him to be at?
If he's aggressive and using his length, then they could be the favorite to win. I don't know. Depends on the coaching. It depends on the kids, and I still think Milton's the favorite. You know what I mean? I just think like they won, so I think they got to be the favorite, and they brought everybody back. So
yeah, it's gonna be tough. I have some question marks about some teams, and Bryce, I'd love to know what you think about it. I want to know what you think about McEachern and Pebblebrook. We're talking about two teams that we're used to seeing at the top.
mm-hmm.
Lost a lot, and will be looking to try to put themselves back in position. What are your thoughts on those two teams?
Pebblebrook, I haven't seen them yet this summer. I was trying to go check them out tomorrow. I'm not sure. We'll have to see if I get there. And McEachern, I saw them last week when they played like the one-day showcase at Hillgrove. I think that they're going to be I think they'll be okay. I think they're going to be in a situation where they got a new coach. You know what I mean? They kind of started from scratch. They do have some talent. They got a 6'9" kid who's pretty young, and they got a guard who's super athletic, super athletic and can play. So they got some. They got Braden Sparks, who's a really good point guard, who I'm really high on. But you know, I don't. To me, they're a McEachern team that we've seen prior to Sharif Cooper. You know what I mean? Like really, like good, like a good team, but not superstars. So, you know, we'll see how they do. Just depends on their development and all that.
This Pebblebrook team, I think, is going to be one that's really interesting to watch. It's a lot of names that we know, right? Andre Young, Kamai Young, now Hillman, Juwan Simon, Xavier Bell. Like, we know all of these names, and we know these kids can play, but now it's on them.
Right.
They're all juniors and seniors now. It's on them.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Danny Stubbs. There's no, you know what I mean? Like, they're missing the guys that were the energy, the leadership of that team. And now it's on some of these guys that are, you know, now seniors, you know, Dre Young and those guys are seniors. And it's different for that program because kids, unlike any other program that I've seen, kids wait their turn to play at Pebblebrook.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Yeah.
And these guys have wait. Like, think about how long now Hillman has waited to play, especially big minutes. Like, not saying that he didn't play at all. He played, but like,
yeah. Well, that's probably gonna make them more hungry. That's gonna make them more anxious to get out there and perform. But like I said, I haven't seen them yet this summer, so I can't really say, like, you know.
Do you expect that this is Kamai Young's team?
He's pretty good. I don't know whose team it is. I have no idea. Because I just don't. I'm not as familiar with them like Stubbs and them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know who the kids are, but I don't know who's end up being that guy when, you know, it's time to bring the ball to the floor and make a play or knock down a shot. Who's that guy? I don't know. I haven't seen them enough.
I think the biggest question mark that I have with them is the style of play. I want to see.
I think they're more prepared than a McEachern will be because they've been in the trenches for longer, and it's the same coaching staff and the same system. So I think that in that regard, and I think they'll probably they'll be more prepared. I think McEachern's going to have a little bit more of an adjustment. You know what I mean? So I think that'll, you know. But like I said, I don't think. Like, both schools were used to them having like some type of superstar or some stars. I think that may be a little different this year.
And Burkmar, of course, we have to talk about. I mean, 6'10" Malik Ewing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're gonna be tough as well. They got the kid that's got a bunch of offers from on the wing. So, but
yeah, hey, it's crazy. Look, Bryce, you didn't even have to say it. For whatever reason, I feel like I
I think they're beatable.
work more. I don't know.
Yeah. I think they're missing something. They lost a lot of them energy guys too last year. They lost a lot of them energy guys. So we'll see. Not sure. I watched them a little bit off and on at team camp, and I think you know what sometimes happens too when you see a lot of kids over and over again. Like you kind of like, okay. Like I know they're gonna beat this team. I know they're gonna beat this team by 20. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, but I need to see them on I need to see them on their A game. The whole group, the whole core group. Let me see them on their A game where they're not doing windmills and missing dunks and you know what I mean, and don't care about it. Like, let me see them on their A game. And I feel like a lot of the times with them, we've seen them. They're in the spotlight. They're always on overtime. They're always like we've seen them. So it's like I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how locked in they are, I think.
I put Kale High School in that same boat with McEachern. No coaching change. From what I saw this summer in team camp, the style of play looks like it's good. They're going to try to play the same style, but a lot of personnel changes.
Yeah, I saw that. They had big boy. They had big boy.
Yeah, they got the big boy, 6'9", 6. You know, some of these kids.
I thought he was a football player.
So that's what I was about to say. So Norcross has a kid, Peyton Daniels, and then Kale has a kid that is – both of these kids are 6'8", 6'9". And look, those guys are Hall of Fame left tackles.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go play on Sunday. You are a Hall of Fame left tackle. Just come out and block. Like, but hey.
That kid is huge. He's huge. And you know what? And he might end up having a lot of kids didn't get the opportunity to play in front of coaches.
I think the Kale kid is better than the Norcross kid. I think the Kale kid is a better basketball player than the Norcross kid.
He's good, but if you get to a point where you're getting evaluations, you're getting to play in front of college coaches and nobody offers you, then you can kind of see like, well, maybe I need to go play football.
He would definitely get a lot of offers playing football. I do know that.
He'd probably be an All-American if he played football. He's huge. And he moves well, and he's athletic. You know what I mean? He can jump. Like, he can dunk easily.
That is one thing that I definitely saw. I do want to shout out, man. And Huff, you may be able to comment on this one because we'll talk in generalities a little bit. Your coaching tree coming through. Stroud got Druid Hills playing the right way, and they're playing hard.
That's one thing about Stroud now. If you don't play hard, you ain't gonna be able to play.
Listen, Druid Hills, like,
and understand. I hope he don't get mad if I say this. He lost a player because they didn't want to buy in, who was pretty good.
Yep.
Sometimes they end up being.
It was very good.
Sometimes they end up being better for you anyway because you realize that you didn't need the player and that you were overcompensating and allowing that kid to play that didn't meet your standards, and you still won without him.
Facts.
You realize, like, damn, I've been giving this kid all these.
My early vote, coach of the year.
Stroud?
Early vote, coach of the year. Stroud. Doing the most, when you talk about doing more with less, getting your team to play the right way, making basketball look like basketball without having stars at different positions. Stroud got two kids, and Huff, you may want to go back on mute for this one. I'm going to talk about two kids on Stroud's team. Stroud got two kids that you can win with. Keyshawn Evans, for you JUCO coaches, Reedy, when you on here, you need to get to Druid Hills and you need to go look at Keyshawn Evans. We joke about the 4-man, but that's a 4-man that knows he's a 4-man. Is a dog on the glass, plays hard, 6'6", 6'7", lots of bounce in his legs, run like he's a gorilla. He's a goon for Stroud. And that's somebody that you got to at least go see. Like, from my understanding what his situation is, he's going to be a JUCO kid. That's a kid that's ready to go. Like, that's a kid that knows what he brings to a team. And he understands, coach, it's my job to make your team tough. It's my job to run the floor and finish. It's my job to go rebound the basketball. Like, that kid will get it done. The next kid that Stroud has that I really like is David Sledge. David Sledge, 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'2". I might be stretching it at 6'3", but guard, kind of combo guard, can really shoot it. The crazy thing is watching Druid Hills play and listening to David Sledge bark out the defensive calls. I busted out laughing because he sounds just like Stroud. He barks out those calls. And look, Huff knows exactly what I'm talking about because he knows exactly how Stroud sounds when he's barking out those calls. That's exactly what David Sledge sounds like. And to me, that's what you need. Somebody that's going to be a coach on the floor. And when your coach and your best guard mimic each other when they sound like each other, to me, man, you're doing something right. You've connected with a kid. And you can win that way. To me, David Sledge is a kid you can win with. I can't tell you necessarily what level. David Sledge is a college player, though. That's a kid you can win with. I want to shout out to Alfred, man. Coach got Alpharetta playing hard. Coach AD got Alpharetta playing really hard. I've had a chance to see Chapel Hill play. I saw Salem play. I've seen every Paulding County school, east, west, north, south. I've seen all of those guys play. Guys looking good. I saw something. What do you guys think about – because I'm seeing this a lot. What do y'all think – and Huff, does it change your evaluation when you see a high school team that is running a set and the coach is calling out a set every time down floor?
That those kids are going to transfer eventually. Yeah.
I saw it from several schools. Now I don't even want to say who, but I've seen some coaches that they're calling a set every time down floor. Does it change your evaluation or anything?
Guess what, though? Understand though, live period. Live before Huff answered the question. Live period is not about the coach getting his shit off. Live period is about exposure and playing in front of college coaches. It's not your time. This is not your normal typical team camp where you trying to see what you got. No, this is the time where you let your kids rock out and play. Yes, you can call a few plays, but you want your kids to get exposure and get connected to the next level. So I don't care if you're high school, AAU high school, live period is live period. So if you out there trying to win state championship in live period, you could defeat the purpose, my guy. Just being honest. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying, like,
I love to see a guy run a set.
You want
to, can he process it? But I also want to see him play too. I mean, like, we got a shot clock, so I mean,
got to be able to get up and down.
So, like, are you teaching that kid to be a robot or?
So this is what I was waiting for Dre to say, because any other damn time, if an AAU team has over 8 people on the bench He'd be on their head. Oh, you got all these motherfuckers on the bench, bro. Go play independent basketball, bro. Go play independent basketball. Bro, I seen high school play teams over the weekend with like 13 people on the bench, bro, and only 5 of them was playing. So what we talking about here? So what we talking about?
It's a little bit. You can't, as a high school coach, you can't tell that 9th, 10th guy tell their mama, "Hey, you're not coming on the trip this weekend." Just
no, you can come on the trip, but the point of a live period is to get exposure. It's for
they might not play. So you saying they playing? You saying they getting in?
I seen plenty of school with 20 people on that bench, bro. And some of them kids ain't touched that floor.
They just want them to see the experience, man. They want to see them experience.
Nah, okay. You're gonna see the experience from another school. We're gonna transfer. How about that?
I do want to put this out here. Public service announcement. Listen,
y'all be killing us. Y'all be killing the AU coach. Damn, bro. How you got all these kids on the floor and they didn't even play for it? Come on, bro.
Because I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times from different teams. From some players I knew them, some players I didn't know them. If you're not playing very many minutes in June, you probably shouldn't expect that to be different. I'm trying to phrase my words correctly. You probably shouldn't expect that to be different.
It's going to be very tough.
If you're not,
hold on, Bryce. It's going to be very tough if you're not, especially as a junior and senior. If you're not getting,
that's who we're talking to. I'm not talking to freshmen and sophomores.
If you're not getting a lot of minutes this summer, it's going to be tough. Or you need to accept your role.
Look like this.
What you are, and it's going to be doubly tough.
If you're only seeing 5 minutes a game in June.
Hold on. I got one better for you. If other than this, the high school NCAA camps, because you can only bring one team. But if you're on that second team, like say a big school takes 2 teams, the team can be on that second team, and most of those guys are young guys. Just understand.
If you are not playing in June high school team camp, like I'm not saying starting, but if you're not in the core, you're probably not playing on a good independent or you're not playing on a shoe team. You're not playing in July. You might be playing in July, but if you're not playing on your high school team, how you going to get good minutes on your AAU team?
Hey, parents look at that in reverse, right?
I mean, you can look at however you want to look at it.
I think you're right, because I'll be quick to tell parents if you ain't going to run.
School comes first. So, and how people build their AAU team sometimes is off of I try to take the best 2 kids from this school or this area. Like, what are we talking about here? So if you're not getting good minutes and quality time, why do you think you can come play on an AAU team and get scholarship? How does that work?
I do want to make sure that people understand this, and I'm not joking. I don't want to say this to look like no disrespect to nobody. Okay. If you're not playing varsity basketball, you can't be running down on your AAU coach about why you don't have an offer. If you're not getting minutes on varsity, you can't be running down on your AAU coach about why you don't have an offer. I think Huff would back me up on this one, that if I suggested that he look at a player or take a player when Huff saw him in AAU, college coaches are going to go back and look at your high school numbers.
Yeah, they're looking at that.
And Huff is going to look back and say, this kid is only getting 3 minutes a game, Dre. What the hell are you giving me?
Yeah, you got to be able to play.
Because there is a difference in you playing a lot for your high school, but maybe you're on a really good AAU team and you don't play a lot of minutes. That's different.
That's true. That can happen. That can happen. But if you play on a really good, like you play on a Nike team or something like that, most likely you're probably gonna be getting good minutes on your school team. You know what I mean? So you'd be okay in that scenario. Then you just AAU team.
I'm gonna throw this out here too. Don't run down on me about getting your kid a D1 offer that can't dunk in layup lines. Don't do that.
Well, no. You don't have to dunk to get no. Well, you said D1 offer.
I said in a layup line. You can't dunk in a layup line. I ain't talking about in traffic, in all.
There's some guys that played that couldn't dunk.
Not many. Not nowadays. Not nowadays.
So I'm saying don't
Nowadays,
He might be 5'10" and he can shoot that thing.
don't run down on me is all I'm saying. Don't run down on me. I'm working as hard as I can, but don't run down on me.
if you got to work hard, Dre, it's too. That's the.
Back to our previous topic. If you're not playing, if you're getting 5 minutes a game, and I'm speaking specifically to juniors and seniors, if you're a rising sophomore, you know, you can
That's
like we talked about.
Young.
Yeah, we talked about Pebblebrook guys fighting it out, waiting their turn, and now they're playing. There are guys for Pebblebrook right now who are going into their junior year that this will be their first time playing, you know, rotation. That happens. I'm talking specifically to junior seniors.
Yeah, you an old head and you on the bench and you ain't getting no time in team camp, bro. You go. You see all them coaches, you might win.
You two choices. Either you're going to accept your role on that team.
Yeah, accept it.
And if you are going to accept your role that you're not going to play, or you're going to play very, very little, I'm talking about up 20, down 20 in those situations, then be the best teammate that you can be. Accept your role. Don't complain the whole season because they're telling you what it is right now in June.
But still, Dre, I still feel like even though that's the kid's role, he still deserves some type of opportunity at getting some type of look, even if it's you know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's.
I agree.
I feel like that's what the point of live period is. It's not to like, yes, you want to win games, but if you brought 11 people, you want to try to give 11 people minutes and try to win the game, like so they can get an opportunity to get seen too. Like, and I doubt that happened last week.
Bryce, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Your again, your elder statements, your junior seniors. I even believe in playing the young guys. It's the summer, man. Play them. You know, maybe you shorten that rotation a little bit for a live period because you got juniors and seniors that you need to get looks, and the young guys you're gonna play in the regular team camp games at the different high schools or whatever. I totally understand that. But like, if you're bringing them, play them. I think as you guys, we get that. I'm just saying that.
Imagine if you played a sophomore in a live period like that, and you gave him that experience as a sophomore,
Right?
Like, he handled it like, damn, I did okay.
Right. I saw some sophomores that were playing more than some juniors.
Well, there you go. That's good then.
So I'll give y'all. I had a parent that I knew, and one of her friend's sons was playing for a team who played last weekend, and she reached out to me. She said, "Listen, I want to be able to give my friend some real advice. She's telling me all these things. She's saying he's not playing much. Some younger guys are playing in front of him. My friend thinks her son is a D2 NAIA player. Can you just watch?" And I had to write back like,
what about D3?
She did say D3, and I had to write back after watching. I said, he's definitely not playing a lot. He played 2 minutes, and he had as many turnovers as minutes he played. And I said, right now, there's no NAIA D2. I said, even a D3 won't recruit him, and he has the grades. I said, they may ask him to come try out or be on their JV team, maybe because he has the grades in that school. I said, but now you got to tell that mom she's got to be realistic.
It might not be for him.
Right. I mean, just because you put all the money into it and he's been playing since he was 5 and he's been playing AAU since it doesn't mean he's a college basketball.
Work more. Yeah, it's tough.
And you can, and I say that not just for that kid. That could be a kid who's starting in high school right now. Hey, and he could be an all-region player. To be honest with you, he might just not be a college basketball player.
Man, that grind is different.
It's different. Like
it's a conversation that I had with my oldest this year of going into this season of, man, listen, you only get a chance to do this one time. right? Like this is your junior, senior year of high school. These are supposed to be fun years. Are you having fun?
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
You're gonna lose half your 3/4 of your school year playing basketball.
Yeah, you like, and I don't think people talk about that enough with their kids. Are you enjoying this?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so if the answer is yes, then you good. If the answer is no, then we got to have some conversation about what needs to change for you to enjoy it.
Right.
And I know kids that transfer to go down to, maybe a basketball program that's just not very good, or doesn't have many players, or they have a hole at your position or whatever, so that you can just play and enjoy and have fun. Forget about necessarily being a college player, but are you at least having fun and enjoying your junior, senior year of high school? Right. I think those conversations need to be had. There are some kids who are on those teams, like we talk about the Pepper kids that wait to play. And I think they wait to play because they're enjoying their experience. Because if they weren't enjoying it, I think they would leave.
You gotta be, and you gotta be a believer and bought into everything that program has to offer. Otherwise, you could probably go to another. There's so many high schools. You can go to another high school if you're decent and probably play and start. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
but
it's a real conversation. Even with older kids, it's like, man, it might be time for you to just go be a student, bro. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing at all.
Like most of the kids we have end up going to play college basketball, but I'm sure there's been some here and there that just went to school. You know what I mean? Like, and it's cool, bro. It's not an issue.
It's or man, I've seen guys. There's a kid for a minute up right now that went D1. Ended up in the transfer portal, and now, because of COVID and different other situations, is not playing basketball. You know what? He was really good. But you know what he figured out? He went to college and he didn't want basketball to be a job.
Right.
He didn't like it.
He wanted to enjoy his life.
He didn't want to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning lifting weights and, having
individual parties on the weekends and during the week.
Yeah, he wanted to, and he's not playing.
Yeah.
So, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you decide this ain't like, I don't want anybody yelling at me at 6 o'clock in the morning, run faster. I don't want to do that.
I went to try out for the team at Morehouse because I was like, I still had the itch, and I walked in the tryouts, and they were like, "Man, we gotta take that earring off, take earring out." I'm like, you know what? This ain't for me. I ain't taking my earring.
Brewer definitely was not letting you with any jury, none.
That's how I knew I was done, bro. That's how I knew. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna just go study, bro. This ain't for me. Because before that, I'd been like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, man, I ain't taking my earrings. That's how you know what I'm saying? Like, if it comes to a point in time where you got to be realistic, like, man, it's just,
yeah.
But what I did do was I went to a lot of games and I watched a lot of games. So I didn't play because I didn't have that desire for that grind and to compete against people. And like, I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But still wanted to go to games. I still went to games, like, and watched a lot of games.
I tell kids all the time how fun intramurals is.
Man, it would be lit.
There was a lot of trash talking. I know that.
Hey, go play intramurals, man.
And then the intramurals are so good now that you go to different campuses and you go to like the state.
They have intramural leagues. Intramural leagues.
The intramural college league is lit.
Hey, we tell our guys at Voorhees, like, hey man, don't go out to that blacktop and be playing against them guys.
They can get because they're gonna get
because
you.
What happens is all it takes is them guys to bust your butt. Now they coming in my office talking about, man, I just beat your top guy. Now you better put me on the team.
I'll tell you something. That Morehouse intramural league, dudes be in there getting it done. I'm talking about dunking on you, put back dunks, shooting a three, going for it.
Speaking
you get to go home and do what you want to do. Someone might go home and drink a 6-pack.
Speaking of college life and all this stuff. Huff keep putting his hand up close to his face and blinding the shit out of him.
There you go.
Huff, can you put it up toward the camera? I'm gonna put my hands over my eyes so I can. Oh,
You got another ring. Damn.
Another one, as DJ Khaled would say, man.
That's crazy.
Are we gonna talk about the ring? Are we gonna address this? Like,
just a blessing, man. Those guys sacrificed it to be able to get this that's on our finger, man. So that's all that needs to be said. We're trying to go to get another one, man. That's all we need.
I love it, man. Voorhees College conference champs.
Got a nice ring to it, don't it?
It do. Hey, when they announce y'all, are they gonna say reigning, defending? Are they gonna bring you out like that?
I don't know. We're gonna find out, right?
I feel like as like maybe for homecoming, y'all bring me in as a special announcer, and I can go back to remember my old podcast introductions, man. I can really try to.
Are we going back into the studio? We going back into the studio?
Yeah.
Really? Because I got some outfits I've been trying to get off.
I think we should do a special episode for episode 100. We should all get together.
Yeah, I'm with it. When is that?
Special. This is episode 94. So we got 6 more.
All right.
Should bring in some special guests, man.
I feel about that, though. So.
Maybe we can hold it at what's the place?
Did you just say Magic City?
No.
All right, we're gone. That's
he was trying to say Lifestyle Bistro, but you just brought up Magic City.
That's what I was about to say. I do want some wings though, but
here we go.
Hey man, I appreciate everybody for joining us. That's our show for tonight. Love you guys. I'll be at the GHSA team camp, live prayer camp this weekend. I am calling games actually starting tomorrow at noon. So I'll be on the call tomorrow at noon and all through the night. Me and Coach Thompson back to back. So look forward to seeing everybody up there, man. But I'll check you guys out. Reedy, I think Locke might be in at Faulkner, man. So you'll get some.
I'll see you, Coach Reedy, Saturday. I'll see you Saturday, Coach Reedy.
So, but man, that's our show, man. Love you guys. Y'all stay safe out here, man. Take care of those kids. Hug your loved ones, man. Never know. Never know. I'll just leave it at that. Just never know what happens out here. So y'all be easy, man. We out.